So it's my pleasure to introduce Professor Spenta Wadia. Well, he doesn't require any introduction. So he is the founder director of ICTS, as everyone knows. And also he is a very reputed, well-known string theorist. I have seen him several times in TIFR. So welcome, sir, and you may begin your talk. He will be speaking on a brief history of science initiative in India.
So I'd like to begin by thanking Professor Ravindran and the organizers inviting me to give a talk here. Now, Ravindran asked me to talk about ICTS. A few days later, he wrote, "Why don't you also talk about the growth of the string theory group at Tata Institute?" That becomes a very tall order. And I say yes to all these things, and I find it very difficult to put it all together. But I have attempted something, actually. So, okay. I'm also very honored to be here to celebrate the centenary of Professor Alladi Ramakrishnan. And today it was wonderful to hear the history of his contribution, actually. And it's very important to honor people who have done so much for India, actually. Yeah. So, all right. So this is the campus of the ICTS. So that is the prehistory, Ravindran, about the string theory at Tata Institute. And there's a lot written here, but I will just have to tell you a little bit. String theory is a theory in making. There is no such theory yet, and has its origin in high energy physics of strongly interacting particles in the 1960s. And it is an attempt to answer important questions about the origin and future of our universe, about the conundrums of black hole physics, and about the unification of gravity with the weak, strong, and electromagnetic forces. That's an amazingly tall order of scientific questions, actually. And string theory, as I think, just is an attempt, really, to answer some of these questions. So in the summer of 1984, it became clear that string theory may be able to describe elementary particle physics, including the weak interactions. It's the anomaly cancellation work of Green and Schwartz. So around the same time, for some totally other reason, we had started working on string theory at the Tata Institute as a continuation of some of our work on the theory of strong interactions. And hence we sort of, in India, hit the ground running, as they say. And the first thing we did, now about the growth of the subject, is that we had to grow a local community, train students, postdocs. Our first batch of students were postdocs at Stanford, Princeton, Harvard, Brown. And for us, that was a benchmark of our success, actually. That's something which we felt very encouraged by. And then the first thing we did, you need to build a nucleus. So some of our best students, Avinash Dhar and Gautam Mandal, we hired actually as faculty of the Department of Theoretical Physics, and by then Sunil Mukhi also joined the Tata Institute. The second thing we did to build a group was that every summer we would go and inform the world what we are doing at the Tata Institute, all over. And I was fortunate to share a train ride with Ludwig Fadeev, one of the great mathematical physicists of the 20th century, on a train ride in 1982 on my way to India from Saclay to Paris. And he said, every summer I go out and tell the world what we are doing in Leningrad at the Steklov Mathematics Institute. The second thing that played a very important role in our growth and development was the ICTP, because Salam played a very important role in the early years of string theory in India, and many of us were associated with the ICTP for many, many years, and they supported our foreign travel. They made us they were able to support us to go to conferences, because our department used to simply fund the more senior people to go and visit places, and there was no money for young faculty or students, postdocs. All right. So ICTP played a very important role. And during these visits, I went looking for faculty, and I visited my old colleague from Chicago. He was a student when I was in Chicago, and Ashok Sen in Fermilab, and asked him to join the Tata Institute, which they did. And when I was at the Institute for Advanced Studies on my sabbatical, I encouraged Sandeep Trivedi and Atish Dabolkar to join the Tata Institute, and they did. So we had assembled a very strong group by the end of the 1990s. Atish Dabolkar, Shumit Das, Avinash Dar, Gautam Mandal, Sunil Mukhi, Ashok Sen, Sandeep Trivedi, and myself. And in fact, let me just say one thing, that all the most important work these people did in their careers were done at the Tata Institute, not before they came. So it just worked out. It's a fluke, I think, accidental. Many people got together. All right, so then we start organizing conferences, and just to educate our students and also become international in our outlook. And we organize schools in Mahabaleshwar, in TIFR Mumbai, conferences and schools, and that gave us a lot of encouragement, actually. The fact that a lot of important and impactful work came from the Tata Institute in string theory encouraged us to organize Strings 2001 at TIFR Mumbai, which hosted Stephen Hawking, Edward Witten, and David Gross, another galaxy of people who have made fundamental contributions to string theory. And David Gross, whom I know since I was a graduate student, as in his usual very energetic way, said, "Get Stephen." Okay, so we got Stephen. And we were very fortunate that the expenses of Stephen Hawking were paid by Mr. Shibulal of Infosys Technologies, and that was our first sort of brush with big money and the power it has to be able to do things. Okay, so Strings 2001 was a watershed moment for string theory in India, and we had arrived on the national and international stage. We were writing articles in newspapers about this subject, and we were there. In the years that followed, Shumit Das, Ashok Sen, Atish Dabolkar, mainly for their two-body problems, relocated to other institutions, and so it was sad a little bit. But then in 2004, we attracted Shri Razminwala to join the Tata Institute. Okay, so the string theory at TIFR grew mainly. I mean, there has to be some support, institutional support. The support and encouragement of Professor Virendra Singh, who was the chair of the physics department at some point and also the director of Tata Institute, who recognized, he was the only person, I think, the importance of the question string theory attempts to answer, and suggested to Professor Jha, who was the chair of the department at that time, to set up a different unit in the department called String Theory and Mathematical Physics. So that's how it was created. I won't tell you about all the suffering we went through to do all this, but let's all talk about the good things. All right, so now, the idea of the ICTS. So the idea of the ICTS, in which science will be one story, took shape in 2001 already, after Strings 2001. And in February, I wrote a proposal for an institution, actually, to Narayan Murthy. I wanted him to be here. And urging him to, step in to fund a new type of institution in India. And of course, he never replied. The idea actually to do something like this, the encouragement, the intellectual encouragement, or the dream came from two sources. One, I said, Strings 2001, we had arrived on the international stage. And the other one was that I brought Edward Witten to visit Bangalore, actually to give a talk at the Indian Academy of Sciences. And I asked him, would you like to visit Belur Halebedu and these great Hoysala temples? And he said, no, I want to visit the temples of modern India. That was Infosys Technologies. So I went with him to the Infosys campus in Bangalore to meet Nandan Nilekani. And that is where I just couldn't believe it actually, the quality of the construction, the spaces, the architecture. And I thought it might be possible to do that in India actually also. Okay. So these were the two inspirations in 2001 to do it. But that proposal which I wrote to Narayan Murthy, I carried it to David Gross in Santa Barbara. David Gross is, as you all know, very eminent physicist, Nobel laureate, discovery of asymptotic freedom. And so David Gross, so this is the proposal, and these are all these scribblings of David on as how to go about building an institution in an environment which is not very friendly. So first one has to convince the Tata people to do something and about it, and slowly I understood how to go about it. That's a long story and the time is short, so just wanted to tell you about the immense help of David Gross in charting the course of the ICTS. And so I did all the things he said, and of course, renormalize them to our situation, and make a presentation to the TIFR Council. It was approved, and approved with the following mandate. So the Council of Management, let me just read it out, recommended the setting up of the center with the name International Center for Theoretical Sciences. I had called it National Center, but CNR Rao said, remove national, put international. Okay. At a suitable location in India with three main missions: programs that bring physicists, astronomers, cosmologists, mathematicians, biologists, students, researchers from all over the world under one roof to work together to solve the most challenging questions posed by nature. Second is research, because without having in-house highest quality research, you cannot achieve this type of thing. And then use the resources of programs and research for science outreach. So that's it. The center was then set up. Set up means just a piece of paper, and with advisory council, management board, and program committee. Okay, so now the first things I did, and I think this I have told many people to do, is set up a very outstanding advisory board. You see, it protects you. It holds you accountable, it guides you, and it protects you. It protects you from the type of bureaucracy we function in. So that was done. And thanks to T.R. Rao that he actually finally agreed. I had called it council, but he said you should call it board, because there cannot be two councils in TIFR. And there was a management board, and what we did is immediately hit the ground running, and the program activities began. The woods had cleared and the true mountains appeared. And the center started operating from TIFR Mumbai. I cannot tell you all the stories about the search for land and where we wanted to be and where we landed up. But that's for another time. So our first program was at the International Center in Dona Paula in Goa, and it was on correlated electrons and frustrated magnetism in 2007. And that is where Professor T.V. Ramakrishnan unfurled the logo of the ICTS, which is a pictorial representation of the triangle theorem due to Bhaskara II. And then we used to be hosted by many places in India to hold our programs. I mean, Lyman Page, for example, was lecturing at Ayuka. Then this is Peter Sarnak at TIFR Mumbai, and so on. I mean, there's lots of these things happened. And the next steps. This was, you want to do something, and you say, okay, with goodwill and heart, that I will now do something about setting up an institute. But then the council said, I have to find the government resources and the land to build a campus and work with the architect for a suitable design for the mission and see through the execution of the design, create a modern administrative support system, choose the research areas, and attract outstanding faculty within each. I mean, it's like being thrown into the water and learning how to swim. But I think we finally, with the help of a lot of people, especially my colleague and friend Avinash Dar, finally sort of embarked upon this journey to build the ICTS. And so the campus, so I won't tell you the story how it all came to Bangalore, but this is what we found when we first visited the site. It was just flat ground, and that's it. I mean, now we have to do something there. So there was this big problem about why it is in Bangalore. Why not Mohali? Why not Kolkata? Why not Hyderabad? So Professor C.N.R. Rao solved all these problems. I mean, the first meeting, ICTS was not approved. In the second meeting, he came and settled it. It's amazingly grateful to him for all this. And in 2009, we unveiled the foundation stone and part of a conference called Science Without Boundaries. I think ICTS has never again organized a conference of this scale, actually, in so many areas at once in the Indian Institute of Science. Okay, so this is the photo of that. Let me just go ahead. These are foundation stone remarks. I think these slides will stay with this institute, so you can look at them. And these are some pictures of people. You may recognize almost all of them. And yeah, so these are some photographs. And this is Vijay Raghavan, and Ajay Sood, and Albert Lipschitz. So okay, so it was a very good beginning. But then you cannot build an institute sitting in Mumbai, you see. So we had to move. I mean, station ourselves in Mumbai. And so we started activities in the old TIFR math building, which is called the Center for Neuroscience today, in the IISC, to build the campus, induct the faculty, and organize programs. This is some. And David Gross was the chair of our advisory. He would come every year and make sure we are accountable to our original dream and mission. Many people helped us, and I just wanted to acknowledge here P. Balram, H.R. Krishnamurthy, and also Vijayaraghavan and the NCBS team provided enormous support to the fledgling institution in its initial stages. All right, so these are some photographs from there, and this is one of the best things we organized is a Turing Centenary lecture by Sidney Brenner, and this is a very interesting interaction being conducted by Mukund on the role of theory in biology. So I was fixed on having theoretical biology or computational biology from day one, because that's the in the hierarchy of complex systems, physics is the simplest actually. And then there is the highest one is biology. So we should have biology at ICTS, and we did. So campus design and architecture, so we went around all over the world trying to find out what would be good spaces of the ICTS for its mission that we had in mind. And we just, it was a great experience actually, studying architecture from books and going around. And we also went to the Infosys campus to find out about what type of a guest house you would like to build. And so here are some photos of that. Then we worked very close with the design architect. He's a brilliant guy, Ravindra Kumar. and it was great fun to create this institute and the architectural structure also, based on the things that we had in mind, what we should be doing, the spaces we need to do the work that we want to do there. And then this groundbreaking, this is H.R. Krishnamurthy. He told me that he became chairman of the Indian Institute of Science Physics Department just to make sure that we are helped there. So it's great thought. Okay, then there's a construction, and it was a huge thing. But we were monitoring the construction and its quality on a day-by-day basis. Every week, every 2 weeks, we used to have a meeting with all these people. And I think our campus is reasonably well built, but I think we could have done a much better job. But one doesn't know about all these things, when one starts building a campus. We are physicists, actually, or scientists. So. But anyway, I think we have done a reasonable job. And we moved into the campus in June of 2015, actually, okay, which is, it's not very big. It's about less than 20 acres. And I think we should have got much more, but that's another matter. All right, so it's self-contained, includes academic blocks and housing, recreational facilities, creche. Atomic Energy Commission people said, why do you need a creche? And we had an inauguration meeting, actually, and planted trees and stuff like that. And let me just go fast. And I just wanted to acknowledge this few of the people without whom I don't think the ICTS could have come up. So I just thought I would mention them here. And I had a lot of difficulty putting in my wife Leena here, because of course she was great support at home and all that. And I was working. But she was the person who made the first connection with the Karnataka state government through her network. And without that, I think we couldn't have taken the second steps also. The CNR and all came later on. But I just thought I should sacrifice modesty for the truth. So this is David Gross and Sri Rangan, etc. Okay, now all this is buildings and all that stuff. Now what about the mission, the people? So ICTS has faculty, associates, students, postdocs, and an administration. So, and the three-pronged mission is in-house research, programs, and science outreach. In this way, it is very different from KITP or the Newton Institute, because they don't have a large in-house research program. Okay, but we have in India. We are not situated within a university, actually. So we had to really build an institution which is optimal in many senses. We tried very hard to locate ourselves in the Indian Institute of Science, but we were refused. I always thought it's important to have these institutions in places where there's a lot of undergraduates and students and all that. Okay. All right. So the research areas, there are no departments, are basically 3 to begin with, and still today also mathematics, complex systems, space-time physics, and we had a ICTS appointments committee, and just so many people helped us to build our faculty. I'll just go. So this is the first people. We were very fortunate to join the ICTS. This was the most difficult job of building the ICTS. It was also, we were fortunate, that people decided to join us. People like Abhishek Dar, Surat Raju, Amit Apte, Ajit, all of these people. And then I was, of course, working on Rajesh Gopkumar and his wife Rukmini for many years. I think it's very important to foresee what will happen when you step down. But this was the foundation of the ICTS, actually, okay? And then, of course, we started with 4 graduate students, 1 postdoc. And the other thing we did was very important, is to look for philanthropic money, private money, actually. So we are very fortunate that the Airbus Foundation, the Simons Foundation, supported the ICTS I think besides the government funding, which is the major thing, you need this catalytic funding to good things, okay? All right, so these are some of the early programs. It spans the entire canvas of basic science and mathematics. And yeah, scientific discovery through intensive data exploration is also there, which I'm very sort of proud of. Then ICTS, we always felt was a platform for new initiatives. So we started this India Light program of large data pipe with India. We had $1 million grant from Tata Communications for 1 year, and it was used quite a lot by people like Rodhan Narasimha and his group, and also Vijay Chandru and his group. But then we went to talk to T. Ramaswamy, who is not here, for the government to finance this large data project in India, actually. And we were turned down. So that I think we will need this type of connectivity, big data pipes in all the data centers we want to create in India. But we had a beginning, we did something for 2 years, and we had to close it down. The other thing we did was a nodal center for LIGO India. It's still there. And internationally, we started the ICTP, ICTS biology program, the Asian Winter Schools, the Mathematics of Planet Earth program, and also Urbana-Champaign, University of Illinois group came with Strand Life Sciences and ICTS for a discussion meeting on computational genomics, how to build a big computer, fast computer for computational genomics. So many, many things. We wanted to have a platform where people can do new things. And so we succeeded somewhat. Now we also have named lecture series, Chandrasekhar, Ramanujan, and Alan Turing. I don't think I have much time, so I'm going to go quite fast. Also special lectures, one named after Abdul Salam, and also ICTS distinguished lectures. This is just a beginning. Then afterwards, many, many names got added, which I will mention. And we also had science outreach, very important. Then, July 2015, there was patent passing. So Gopal Kumar came to the ICTS, and he's the present director from August 1st, 2015. I'm very happy this happened because you need a highly capable person, with a deep insight into many things, not only scientific achievement, but also a feeling for what to do in India. And so I was very, very happy. And so this is the ICTS campus today, okay? Most of the buildings are all done. The trees took a few years to grow. So that's why you see all this greenery here. And the present advisory committee is more or less the same as before, with some more new people added in, especially Jennifer Chais and Bill Bialek, which I also thought was very important to have. And present areas at the ICTS, you can see that is natural sciences, mathematical sciences, no boundaries, all talk to each other. And the architectural space is designed that way, so that people can talk to each other. Unlike in my old institute in Mumbai, there are these long corridors, it just looks like some, I don't know, I didn't like that. So that was something we changed at the ICTS. And this is the present faculty. This is the faculty that is sort of, they are on the so-called payroll of the DAE. But then there is, we also provide an opportunity for outstanding people who retire to be at the ICTS. And we, of course, also have adjunct and visiting professors. Okay, so students and postdocs. We started with 4 students. Today we have 105. We started with 1 postdoc. Today we have 27. And the programs are also all increasing. So, it's all scaling up. And this is a program statistics. So you can see that we are, there is a need for all this in India. And this page is an indication of that. And Yeah. Also special lectures. Yeah. So I especially always like to flash this photo of Lyman Page. He is an extremely distinguished astronomer from Princeton, winner of the Breakthrough Prize. So this, I have seen the birth of the universe. And it strikes a chord, actually. At least to me, it did. And there are many more outreach activities today at the ICTS. And new initiatives, summer school for women in mathematics and physics, thematic trimesters, which we had originally thought in the beginning but couldn't do much about because we didn't have the spaces. And importantly, I think in ICTS we want to grow a certain type of new mathematics related to data science, mathematical foundations of machine learning, quantum computing, quantum science. And I think we would like to have more resources of land and money to be able to do these new research directions. Okay, so as I said, that besides the Department of Atomic Energy, we laid emphasis on getting private money and succeeded. And there's also the Friends of the ICTS, and it's on our webpage. You may want to make a contribution, however small, however big. This is how it looks today. The ICTS, this library building is designed after the Guggenheim Museum in New York. You know, it's just a spiral. And yeah, so it's done. And I just wanted to read this out to you. I'm finished. The creation of the ICTS was a massive collective effort involving many, many people from India and abroad. So we are grateful to all of them for their help, effort, guidance, and commitment. It is difficult to imagine that this center would be what it is. We would have had a center, what it is without them. And I just wanted to also end this by saying that during the approval of the detailed project report, in a meeting in 2009, Professor Rao said, ICTS could become the center of new things in the theoretical sciences, and expressed a hope that ICTS would make India famous in the theoretical sciences and become the flagship of TIFR. Today, this dream and vision is indeed fulfilled, and ICTS is a world-class institution among the best of its type worldwide, furthering the cause of basic research and education in India. I deliberately read this out because this meeting was, now I'll say it openly, that it was called to close down the ICTS. And Professor Dow intervened, and we are very grateful to him for what he did for us, and that's why we exist there in Bangalore. So this is the last slide. I'm always wanting to say that when you plant a tree, you should allow it to really grow and grow big branches. And so it needs to grow to an optimal size and to serve science and the nation better. Maybe have undergraduates, which is a real dream of mine actually for 2 decades, that the TIFR should have undergraduates. But up till now it has not happened. And I think I'm over time, so thank you so much for listening.
So thank you very much for taking us into such a nice way, a global picture of ups and downs that the institute has shown, and I'm sure, such things people may want to replicate in other places, perhaps. Thank you very much for wonderful. Let's give him a big hand, clapping again. Thank you very much.